Like when they're driving in the car and Reese Witherspoon turns to Vince Vaughn and is like, I want to know that you're on my side. I want to know that if a plane is going down, that you are going to help me with the mask. And it is just 100% my type of humor when he goes, actually, I wouldn't, and the FAA wouldn't want me to either.
Hello and welcome to the Worldwide Honeymoon Travel Podcast, the podcast that talks about all things couples travel, including destinations, tips, advice, and more. I'm Kat.
I'm Chris.
And this is episode number 244.
How happy are you with your pumpkin carving?
I am pretty happy with it.
It was your
I worked up a sweat.
You did. We carved pumpkins yesterday, and
because we're recording this before Halloween, even though this is going to be released probably after Halloween. Otherwise, it'd be kind of weird to be carving pumpkins in November. You know what I mean?
we used to carve them all year round growing up.
No, you didn't.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
There's nothing quite like a May pumpkin carving.
Yeah. That is something.
Yes, we carved pumpkins yesterday. And generally I am someone who likes to keep it simple. And you went very advanced. I would say it was an advanced technique. There were a lot of cuts, not on you and the pumpkin.
1,000 cuts, some would say.
1,000 cuts, and it was really impressive. In all honesty,
I just did I literally did Taylor's version on a pumpkin. That's what I wrote.
Yeah, but there were a lot of first of all, you had to fit it all on a pumpkin. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah.
But it looked really good. I was very proud of you.
I'm very proud of your pumpkin. Yours is a very classic jack-o'-lantern.
Classic jack-o'-lantern.
Very cute, though. You had a huge pumpkin.
Yeah, and I feel like that was purposeful when you bought the pumpkins.
You said you wanted a big pumpkin.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
You got yourself a very nice pumpkin, and then I
just wanted you to have a nice large canvas for your beautiful artwork.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It was a lot to clean out, and then I thought that I had cleaned it all out, and then I carved it, and I went to look at it, and there were all of the little pumpkin strands hanging behind the eyes.
You really got to get a spoon in there and really fish all that out.
I failed to do that. But yeah,
yikes.
Pumpkin carving was a lot of fun. We also made chili. Mm-hmm. We also made snack mix that I used to have from my childhood.
Yeah. It was really good. You made a lot of snack mix, though. Like there's there's like an endless amount of snack mix.
The recipe calls for that.
That's probably because your mom made it during a time when you were a growing boy, and you would literally eat like an entire box of Nutri-Grain bars as like an appetizer for dinner.
I'm also wondering if sizes have gotten bigger. Like, has a bag of Goldfish increased in volume, or has a bag of Cheez-Its increased in volume over the years?
I don't think so. I mean, at least not from the time we were teenagers. It looked about the same.
I don't know.
Maybe your appetite just isn't what it was when you were, 16 years old and playing all these sports and being, a 16-year-old with the appetite of a 16-year-old because you're growing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be it too.
Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it was a very nice fall day.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of fun.
Just being some basic witches.
Oh my gosh. Just
because I got the iced chai pumpkin latte from Starbucks the other day when I was running errands.
Did you really?
Yeah, well, I wanted to try it. It's a new beverage this year.
Was it good?
It was really good.
Would you get it again?
I think so. It's a little too sweet, but it was still really good.
Okay.
I'm still a big fan of the PSL, the pumpkin spice latte, but the chai was good too. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think that's it. I mean, do you have a highlight?
Pumpkin carving was a lot of fun. The fall party was a lot of fun. I will also say that I had a really good run yesterday.
Yeah.
Like physically, mentally, it was the best run that I have had in quite some time. especially
Nice.
being on the trails. It was rainy a little bit. I saw some horses, which was cool. It was a bridle trail that I was running on. These were not wild horses.
And Christopher wasn't just running through stables.
Yeah.
I saw some horses on the way.
But yeah, it was just really nice. It was like a very like cool, crisp, wet fall day yesterday. And getting out on the trails was fun as well. Was your highlight also pumpkin carving and that fall party?
Yeah, that was good.
I thought that was a lot of fun.
Your snack mix was great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Big hit.
All right. So going from one holiday to another here, we
have now approached the holiday season, I feel like.
Yes.
Just holidays from here on out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So today, we know that holiday travel can be stressful. I mean, there are movies about this.
One of your favorite
One of my
Christmas
favorite
movies, yeah.
Four Christmases is such a good movie.
I know, you love
such
that movie.
a good movie. I feel like it's just very much like my humor as well. Like when they're driving in the car and Reese Witherspoon turns to Vince Vaughn and is like, I want to know that you're on my side. I want to know that if a plane is going down, that you are going to help me with the mask. And it is just 100% my type of humor when he goes, actually, I wouldn't, and the FAA wouldn't want me to either. Have you ever heard the safety demonstration? Put your mask on before. And that is my type of humor.
Yes.
I love Four Christmases. Holiday travel can be stressful. Especially when you're in a couple, you're trying to visit multiple families.
Yeah, especially as a couple because you have different families.
Yeah. So today we are going to talk about our top 10 tips for surviving holiday travel as a couple.
Yes, because it is a stressful time of year. But do you want to kick it off with number one here?
Yes, and I think that this is a very important one. This is one
might
that
be one of the most important ones.
You and I take this one to heart.
Also, one of the more challenging ones.
Very much so. It is the first tip is knowing your limits / knowing your boundaries. And do you want to talk about our real life example for this one?
Yeah, I mean, and I also want to say, like, setting boundaries, I think it's so difficult to do with family. And it was something I finally got the courage to do this past year because we now, when we go to visit my family, stay in an Airbnb, not far or anything. We just stay in an Airbnb so we have our own space and stuff like that. And it is because, you know, when we all get under one roof together, there are, you know, there's lots of pets, children, adults, lots of things going on, and it is crazy chaos basically from like 5:30 in the morning until like the kids go to sleep, and then like we get like an hour and then we all go to bed and then it starts over again. And for us it was like we're not used to waking up that way every day, and so it was a bit of a challenge to just jump right into the day in that way. And we just realized that it worked better for us to, you know, stay in a place where we can wake up early and like kind of wake up, you know,
we can approach the day rather than the day landing a haymaker across the left side of our face.
That's very true. That's something that we did. Also, it was a great place to go back to at the end of the day where we had space where it was just us two.
Yeah.
And that felt really great. So we finally started doing that this year, and that's worked out really, really well, is having like an Airbnb. And this is just an example of what's worked for us. Just knowing how crazy we have 4 nephews. The oldest one is 7. The youngest one is a toddler. So they're crazy. Like, I love them to death, but they it is chaos. So it helps to have a place to sort of decompress at the end of the day and wake up at the beginning of the day and sort of like have your space before you go in and, you know, work around the chaos.
I think it just allows us to be more present too.
Yeah, it
Very
gives
much
us
so.
place to kind of relax afterward so that we can be present and in the moment when we're with our nephews and the rest of our family.
Absolutely.
But it's hard to set those boundaries. I get it. And I do recommend that the person whose family it is that you're setting the boundary, that respective person has to talk to their own family. We've always done it this way, and I highly recommend it. Yeah, don't put that on your spouse or your partner or something to set a boundary with your family. Like it's helpful to you're the one who talks to the family and has the difficult conversation like with your own family because
Absolutely.
you know each other obviously better. So yeah, it's just a good idea all the way around.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. What is number 2?
Number 2 is don't play the blame game. Okay, things happen. Holiday travel can be just chaos all the way around. There's lots of people traveling. There's lots of people flying. Lots of people driving. Sometimes you oversleep. You miss a flight. Flights get delayed. You lose something. Things just happen. Okay, and it's just it. We've traveled a lot over the years and things just happen sometimes. And it doesn't help to blame someone or the other, especially as a couple. It doesn't help to blame your partner if like they overslept or they forgot something or, something happened. Like at this point,
Don't blame each other. Find someone random and blame them.
just make up a random person.
Or just approach someone and go, what is your problem?
No.
It's a nice bonding experience. For
Okay. Absolutely not. No, I just think it doesn't help to blame because obviously you guys both were trying to do,
No one's sabotaging.
yeah, no one's trying to sabotage this thing. But blaming doesn't really help because it doesn't. It's not going to solve the problem. So
Creates
I think,
a bigger wedge.
yeah, so I think it's just a lot easier and things are already kind of stressful this time of year. So just no blame game. Instead, just figure out like, okay, this is what happened. Let's figure out how to work around this and move on. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think that's really helpful, especially this time of year. But just in general, that's a helpful tip, I guess, as couples.
Yes.
What's number 3?
Number 3, kind of going along with the theme of sometimes stuff happens, is to allow plenty of time in case stuff happens. Holiday travel is always chaotic, whether you're driving, whether you're flying, whether you're boating.
Your chosen method of
The
transportation.
transportation
to see family.
channels are clogged.
They are.
Allow plenty of time, especially if you're going to be flying, you're at the airport. Building in maybe an extra hour or something like that it's not a huge sacrifice from a time perspective, but it can also make it a much more enjoyable and less rushed travel time.
Yeah, and if you are flying, get TSA pre-check. Just do it. I think that's saved us from missing flights before.
It has.
Yeah. But TSA pre-check is a wonderful thing. Or clear or anything that helps you skip the line and go faster versus waiting in the long, long, long lines.
Yes, the fast pass of the FAA.
Yeah. But also it's along with the holiday travel, this is also the time of year that the weather starts not being so great. So yeah, allowing plenty of time to deal with snow, ice, anything like that.
All of the above.
Always helpful.
What is number 4?
Number 4 is mostly if you're flying, book your seats together. If you want to sit together, which I'm assuming, I don't know. I don't know how you guys roll, but yeah, for those wanting to sit together, go on ahead and book your seats together. I know a lot of airlines are like, you can pay extra to pick your seat or whatever. Or you can pick it as you're checking in or something like that. Try to book your seats together. I know there's the hack that people do with like book an aisle and a window seat because nobody wants to book the middle seat. So you usually have like this row to yourselves. Usually that's not the case with holiday travel because it's usually a very busy time of year and planes are packed a lot of the time. So I would just go on ahead and book your seats together if you want to sit together instead of trying to, find a way to
game the system
or asking people to move because that's always I don't know, not a great idea either to be like, hey, we want to sit together, so can we move? Just go ahead and book your seats together ahead of time.
There's the blame game target. What is your problem?
Okay.
We wanted to sit together.
Okay. Yeah, just book them ahead of time if you're able to do that, or be okay with potentially not sitting together.
I would say that generally with holiday travel, we try and get less travel hacky, if that's a modifier. Like we don't.
Well, I mean, you can use your miles and points,
Right.
but as far as like, oh, because you can book like the aisle and window seat.
Right.
Yeah.
Those sorts of
Yeah.
things.
Because you will have someone sitting between you.
Yeah.
And then it's just weird when you want to talk to each other with this person in the middle.
Yeah. And they're always eavesdropping too, which just
Yeah. What's your problem?
what is your problem?
Also, just another side note, whoever does end up getting a middle seat, I think that they get both of the armrests.
I agree with that.
Because
I agree with that. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because everybody gets an amenity. You have the aisle that gets the the exit area into the aisle. You got the window who gets the view, and then the middle seat is usually just stuck there.
Yeah.
So you might as well get both armrests.
You do.
Yeah.
All right. Our next tip number 5, is to honor each other's traditions. You may have certain dishes at Thanksgiving, for example, that you grew up with, that you love, that maybe your partner does not have those same dishes, right? If there's something important to your partner, maybe it's not how you've always done it, but kind of incorporate their traditions into your traditions and your family's traditions, and also make new traditions.
Yeah. I like that we make our own little new traditions.
I do too, but I do think that it's especially like if it's like the first or one of the earlier times that you are going to be spending the holiday with your partner or with your significant other, it can be intimidating, right? And there is definitely that sense of not necessarily homesickness, but I'll call holiday sickness, because like you know how your family does it and you always look forward to certain things. So make it as easy as possible to kind of acclimate there. I will also say that some traditions should not be honored.
Honestly, when you were talking about like missing things, I miss like my family Thanksgiving when we're not there, but
this is exactly what I was talking about.
I don't miss the fact that like my family, and I thought this was a normal thing that all families did, and I was very pleasantly surprised to find out this was not normal growing up, was that we would have our Thanksgiving, it would be a Thanksgiving lunch pretty much. It'd be like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, we'd have our big old Thanksgiving meal. It was delicious. It was fantastic. We're all sleepy and exhausted afterwards. And you know what we had to do? Decorate for Christmas immediately after. So it would be like
the entire house.
The entire house. So
outdoors and indoors?
I think, yeah, if we could, yeah.
Oh
literally,
my gosh.
it was a nightmare. Like you just finished your Thanksgiving dinner. You just want to like lay on a couch for a very long period of time.
Play a game, spend time with family, chat.
But also kind of like go into your food coma. And then maybe roll over and eventually make yourself like a leftover sandwich for dinner. But like
what you don't want to do.
What you don't want to do is have mom and dad be like, "Hey, why don't we get up in the attic, bring every single piece of Christmas thing that we possibly can out and decorate everything." And guess what? We have 20 dancing Santas to decorate the living room with, and they all need batteries. And then inevitably someone's going to be like pushing the buttons, and it's a whole thing. I'm not complaining. It's funny looking back on it, but
I thought it was funny how just it's one of those things where you grow up doing something and in your little universe you are like, oh, okay, everyone's doing this.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's like one of those things when you're younger and you're talking to your friends and you're like, oh man, that was exhausting. And they're like, what are you talking about?
No, because my first time having Thanksgiving with you guys, with your family, I'm like already just like I'm like, okay, I know it's coming.
You're like dreading the afternoon.
Right? And then they didn't. They were like, okay, look, like we cleaned up and everything, and I was like, oh my gosh, we don't have to decorate.
Do these people hate Christmas?
I don't know why my parents did that. I mean, I guess we were off. We could do that.
But that's a fun little tradition. I mean, in and of itself.
And we would like put the tree together.
Yeah.
You know, so inevitably some of the lights didn't work on the tree.
Those were
so
always,
then Dad got
oh
mad,
my
and
gosh.
it was always a whole thing. Yeah, we'd like.
I
don't know.
See it
debate.
in my mind, Clark, and it's beautiful.
It was like it was a whole thing. That's for sure. Like Thanksgiving Day, it was like we knew that it was going to be a big day for working.
Yeah.
For all of us.
But at the same time, if that is something like if that is something that that your significant other enjoys, if that's how they kind of transition from one holiday to the next or something like that, honor it.
Yes.
Yeah. What's number 6?
Okay. Number 6, I think working out a game plan ahead of time for seeing family. Just have this worked out ahead of time.
Approach this like a battle.
No,
I'm just kidding.
It's so for us, because my family lives about 5 hours south of here, so like we can't go see them on the same day or even the next day or something like that typically. Sometimes if you have family in the same city, maybe you do like, okay, well, we'll do the holiday with you and then the day after with you guys to celebrate it, or you split it up. I don't know. Have a game plan that you guys can all agree on and stick to the game plan there. But for us, we do kind of like an every other year. So we celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving. And so what we do is like this year, it's your parents' turn for Thanksgiving, right? So we kind of work it out with all my siblings and their in-laws as well. So this year, it happens to be Christmas for my family. So we celebrate Christmas with my family in Kentucky. But we have Thanksgiving with our spouses' families. So we have Thanksgiving, and so we kind of do like a celebration of Thanksgiving and Christmas on Thanksgiving with like our respective in-laws, and then we go and celebrate Christmas, and then next year it flips. So we do like an every other year where like last year my family had Thanksgiving, but your family had Christmas, and then this year it's the opposite. So that's kind of how we work it out, and that's always worked really well for our families, especially because my sister and I do not live near my parents, so it really helps we can all go and do that. But my brother lives close to both his in-laws and my parents, and they do Christmas Eve. When it's my parents' turn for Thanksgiving and not Christmas, they'll do Christmas Eve with my parents and then celebrate Christmas with his in-laws and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Find a plan that works for you.
Find a plan that works for you. That works pretty well for us. Yeah. So that's how that works.
Tip number 7 is to always remember that you guys are a unit and that you are always going to take each other's sides. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's more of like maybe it happens more in like the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
But like the partner is for whatever reason ostracized from the family or like I'm thinking of like Meet the Parents.
Yeah.
Right? Not holiday related, but very much a kind of like the circle of trust versus those that are not in it.
Yeah.
You're a unit, right? You're gonna take your partner's side in things if they are if they're upset or if they were uncomfortable with something that was said or what have you. I think part of maybe a natural reaction is to you do kind of go into defense mode with your family and with your loved ones, right? Because like that's your family, so you're like, oh, they didn't mean that, or like you're being too sensitive or what have you. But if there is something that is bothering them, and you want to be able to hear out your significant other and validate their feelings and take their side. Yeah,
you're a unit.
You're a unit.
Yeah,
it's all about the battle plan.
Oh my gosh. This I don't want this to come across being like this is a battle plan.
No,
I
just
know
kidding.
that this time of year
we used unit and game plan and all of this, and I'm
we're
like,
a team.
I just keep picturing like I keep picturing like the battleship board.
Oh my goodness.
Alrighty.
No, yeah. Again, it's a great time of year, but yeah,
it is a great time of year.
It's just we're just trying to make like here are some tips to help you make it less stressful, because it's the transportation and the planning bits that can be quite stressful.
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
time of year. But anyway, number 8. I think this is so important, but blocking off time for just the two of you before or after or both,
or during
if you can, being around all the people, the holiday parties, all the things that are happening, because there's a lot going on this time of year. Whether it is like Friendsgiving or it's New Year's parties or family, like, celebrating the holidays with family and stuff. It's so important to have time for each other, whether you go on a date night or have like a movie night in, or have just something where you have quality time for the two of you to sort of reconnect during all of this. And also decompress like from family stuff, because it's a lot of fun and we love our families and our friends and everything, but you need time to kind of decompress and also
Time to relax.
and get to spend time with each other. I think that that's just really important overall.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to kind of have time to yourselves with each other, I guess, or time together.
Yeah, agreed. And like even like to go back to the first tip, like, and you were talking about how the fact that we stay at an Airbnb, even if it's just like having a cup of coffee together in the morning before you go over or something like that, just that that time, so it's not like you're waking up, you're getting ready, you're going over, and then like you come back, you go to bed, and like it's much better when you have time to connect, which is good.
Yeah, because you don't get that a lot of the time when you're at, like, I know especially when we're at my family's house, when there are like a ton of adults and children running around, we don't get a lot of time to spend one-on-one with each other, and that's okay because we know that we're going to spend time with family and friends and things like that. Yeah, so it helps to maybe plan a date night when we get back and we're like, okay, so that's time that we get to have together. Yeah.
Tip number 9 is kind of building on something that you had said earlier, but it is approaching the holidays with a quality over quantity mindset.
So don't do the 4 Christmases approach.
Don't do
if you can help it.
I mean, it leads to hilarious results. But making sure that you're having
swaddle that baby.
Unfit mother.
That is a good movie.
That is such a good movie. Where was I?
Sorry.
Before swaddling. Yes, quality over quantity. So it would be great to be able to see immediate family, extended family, in-laws, all of that, all on the same day. But I mean, if you're only spending a short amount of time with everyone, you don't necessarily have the entire opportunity to connect. Building on what you said earlier with the different approach to how to spend the holidays with families is to consider celebrating a family or a family. Consider celebrating a family on another day, a holiday on another day. So maybe rather than trying to split Thanksgiving between multiple stops or multiple houses, maybe if it works for everyone, consider celebrating it the next day. So that way you can have a full day of bonding and of catching up with one family, and then you can have the same for another as well. Just approaching it with a quality over quantity mindset.
Yeah.
Which
again,
leads
you
us,
know your limits and your boundaries as well, so that helps to be able to communicate that with everybody.
Absolutely. Tip number 10, our last tip.
Our last tip. And this is just kind of a reminder. This time of year, yes, travel can be stressful. Navigating, in-laws, families, everything that's going, friend stuff, because there's Friendsgivings and all kinds of things going on this time of year. So it can be stressful, but it's also a really beautiful time. I mean, you get to celebrate holidays. If it's a religious holiday for you guys, like celebrating Christmas for us is very meaningful. But also just, it's a great time like Thanksgiving. It's great to celebrate being together as a family and just being thankful for each other. Seeing friends and family, I think it is a great time because I know I don't get to see my family as much just because we are kind of spread out a little bit more. So it's great when we can all get together. And as chaotic and crazy and stressful as it can be,
it is a blessing.
It's a blessing, and it's a lot of fun to get to spend all that time together and to catch up and see how my nephews are doing, or see how everyone's doing, and getting to spend that time together. It's always really nice.
So what is the tip?
That time of year
it's a blessing.
Yeah, this time of year can be stressful, but it's also a beautiful time. So just keep that in mind. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun overall. So I think that's like the big thing to keep in mind throughout all of it. So just be super
blessed to be able to do it.
Too blessed to be stressed.
What?
Hashtag blessed.
Is that a thing? Too blessed to be stressed?
Haven't you heard that before?
I have not heard that before.
Oh, I don't know. It's a thing.
I like it.
But yeah. I think that's those are our
those
10
are the tips.
Our tips to survive holiday travel as a couple.
Survive.
No, it's not like we make it sound like it's like this crazy. It's really not. We were just like, oh, maybe let's do some tips to help people traveling around the holidays together.
Yeah. Things that have worked for us.
Yeah, things that have worked for us. But anyway, those are our 10 tips to survive holiday travel as a couple. As Christopher's laughing over there. What?
The survive made me think.
I know.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's it. Let us know your thoughts. Do you guys have any tips or what works for you guys? You can always let us know. You can reach out to us on pretty much all social media at Worldwide Honeymoon, except X, which is WW Honeymoon, or you can email kat@worldwidehoneymoon.com. But thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to rate and review our podcast. It takes less than a few minutes and really helps other people find us. Also, if you're enjoying this awesome free information on both the blog and podcast, when you're booking your next trip, head over to worldwidehoneymoon.com/resources and use the links provided. We earn a small commission at no cost to you when you book through these links, and these are all brands and companies we know, love, and use, like Skyscanner for finding the best flight prices, World Nomads for the best travel insurance, TripAdvisor for hotel bookings and reviews, and even Amazon for all of your travel purchases.
Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Wherever you are, wherever you go, remember to make every day a worldwide honeymoon.